by all of us, and I want you to keep remembering that. That's really, really vital to keep in mind. You're not alone, and you don't have to do things alone. And you're not in competition with anyone. How good is that? All right. Even if someone has the same business as you, there is no competition in our group. There's always collaboration. So, wealth creation mindset. Who's ready to learn? Please put a 888 in the chat group. If 888 is about new beginnings, and it's great to see so many on. Rashid, good to see you on as well, my bro. Good to see some of our guys from overseas on as well. My brother Joseph, good to see you on. What a blessing. All right. For those who were here at the start, you'd have seen the disclaimer. And as always, you guys know this is not financial advice. Please seek financial advice if you need to. The last few weeks, we have been doing a journey of the power of thought, the power of imagination, the power of words, and the power of failure. Okay. What I want to start, and if you missed any of that, it's on YouTube. Feel free to go grab it. And if someone could post the YouTube link for us, Authentic Wealth YouTube link, that'll be great. Today, guys, I'm starting a new series, which is really exciting to me. It's called the Melchizedek Touch, or Mel's Touch. Okay, and for those who don't know what that means, it's similar to the Midas Touch, but it's got a. I like the idea of this because it's based around passion and heart, not based around getting rich, but riches follow. Does that make sense? All right, so it's similar to like the Midas Touch, but it's called the Melchizedek Touch because it's around heart. And over the series, I'll delve more into why and who Melchizedek is and why I chose this. I started delving into this about 20 years ago, and it's been growing progressively in it. It's success through inheritance, favor, and rest. Whatever you touch will turn to gold. Okay, excuse the misspelling there. Don't let my mom see it. So today I want to talk about a couple of concepts. And one is around success. It says here, you are not created for failure, you were designed for success. Now, how many of you would believe this? Because this is kind of an important journey as we begin to understand some things around success. Can be two ways. It can be a lot of hard work to get where you're going, or it can be a lot of hard work in your mind to change your mindset to get into a place where you recognize the key that you already have and you're ready for to have success. Okay. So one of the things that I often say to myself at the beginning of my success journey that I would often speak to myself about is that I was not created for failure. Some of you would hear me say that to you as well. When you feel like you're feeling down, I'll say, you're not created for failure. You were designed for success. Now, if you believe that, on a scale of 1 to 10, I want you to, 1 being, I really struggle to believe that, 10 being, yep, I'm with this. What's your agreement to this? That you are not created for failure, but you were designed for success. In the chat group, give me a number from 0 to, or 1 to 10. I got 1, 10, awesome. Another 10. Okay, and it's really important. And if you are less than a 10, it's okay. But I want you to start to think about, how can I speak this into my life if I believe this? And hopefully by the end of this series, and today is the first of the series, is around the difference between being an imposter versus an inheritor, right? Awesome. Thank you, Jerry, for your vulnerability of saying, yep, I'm an 8. And guys, to me, now it's become a 10 for my mind. It's not always a 10. Sometimes I jump in and out of things of thought process. But there is this process where I keep reminding myself, I wasn't created for failure. Like my creator did not come and decide, I'm going to create you with failure in mind. I was created with success in mind, and I was designed with success in mind, which means all the attributes that I have, all the attributes you have, all the thoughts and the surrounding around you has been created for you to be successful. The problem we face, and most of us will face this, all of us will face this, is sometimes wondering, am I an imposter or an inheritor? Right? And that's something I want to talk about today. Success comes easily when you start by believing that you are already equipped for the tasks at hand. So you are already, it's not a learning. We're learning the journey, but we're not learning to be successful. We have to operate from a place of success. Yes, there'll be failures. Yes, there'll be problems. Yes, there'll be obstacles. Yes, there'll be crashes and difficulties and trouble. And that'll always be the case. The most successful people today still have ups and downs. Would everyone agree? And if I was to use for those who have been studying crypto and forex with us and candlesticks and so on, Emmanuel, I think you'll agree with me. If you're as long as your current low is higher than your previous low, then what's the trend going to be? That your next high is going to be higher. What's the trend going to be, Emmanuel? I saw you reaching for the unmute button.
That's an uptrend.
It's an uptrend. So what's going to happen to your next high?
The next high will be higher than your previous high.
Thank you. All right. So if you liked your previous success and you feel like you're in a dip, I want you to stop and think, is my dip still higher than my previous low? And if it is, then I'm going on an upward trend, which means my next high is going to be higher, better, more successful than my previous high. That's very exciting. Now, if you feel like you're just going around in circles, then there's a problem and you have to change your mindset. It means you're stuck. Okay. And that's a good way I find of evaluating the situations that we're in as well. So I want to talk about the imposter versus the inheritor and what that actually means. Has anyone heard of the imposter syndrome? Give me a Y, a N, or a IDK, a yes, no, or I don't know in the chat group. Have you heard of this thing called the imposter syndrome? It is very important for us to be able to hit that especially when we are faced with feeling like a failure, feeling like we failed, feeling like I'm just not good enough for something, and forgetting that we were designed for success, that everything about us is designed for success. Now, how many of you would be happy to buy a brand new phone, hopefully an Apple, and then recognize it cannot do anything that it was set up to be designed for? It doesn't take phone calls, doesn't play your music, doesn't show you the maps, doesn't help you browse the internet. It doesn't do anything. Would you go, oh, that's okay, it was not designed for that? No, you'd be pretty upset, right? You'd want to go back to the production office. You want to go back to the retail shop. You want to go back to the creator and complain and say, hey, you did not create this. It's not performing the way you told me it was going to perform, right? And so the same thing with us. If we feel like we are designed for failure, then we will never be successful without hard work. But if we recognize that we come from a place where success is part of our DNA, it is who we are, then we will actually be able to flow in a very beautiful way. How many of you are with me? Just tell me in the chat, because I want to see some interaction with this. This series is very important, because once our mind clicks into this, whatever you touch will turn to gold. And I'm seeing that over and over again. Thank you. And it's exciting because once you do this in the rest. People come to me often and say, how many ads do I need to put out? And how many people do I need to get? And 3% of the ads I put out will be the response. And that's the market, Lely. And I go, you know what? I literally am seeing 100% response rate. Why? Because we don't look for the wrong people, and we don't have to go to the masses and beg them. The right people will come your way, whether it's in business, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in health, in whatever situation. But I want to talk about wealth today. So in your wealth, in your money, in the opportunities that you have, the right things and right people, the right procedures will come your way. Great. I have about 3 or 4 people following me. We've got 20 people on here. So let's see what's happening with the others. Hope you guys are focused and concentrated. Now, I can't force you to do things, but you know what? Change comes when you are fully focused. It's about an hour, 90 minutes at tops once a week. You're getting these sessions. And I'm telling you what, I wish I had someone who taught me these sessions as well. Okay. I think I'm pretty good at the quality of what I've been giving. I used to be an imposter in this because I wasn't sure of myself, but I've become certainly an inheritor. So what's the definition of an imposter? An imposter syndrome is a psychological pattern in which an individual doubts their own skills, accomplishments, or legitimacy in a role, often feeling like a fraud. And here we're just going to have some vulnerability. Who would be able to say, I actually think I can connect with this. People with imposter syndrome tend to believe that they are not as competent or worthy as others perceive them to be and fear being exposed as unqualified. Is anyone looking at this and going, yeah, that sounds like me, especially when I have new ventures to jump into, when I have this passion, this vision that I want to perform, there's this idea in my head. Like I love Tesfa. He's got so many ideas, man. He reminds me of me. I used to have 100 ideas a day and it was crazy. And I had to get down to moving to my purpose and finding the one thing that I did really well and focusing on that. But I loved it. I loved hearing testimonies like this and this and this. We kind of 5 or 6 businesses already, right? Good. So this is talking to some of you guys, and hopefully it'll talk to all of you because all of us go through this, guys. If you don't go through this, it simply means you haven't decided to kick into the next stage, maturity level. That's risk taking. It's taking a risk. It's stepping out into the deep and feeling like an imposter because you've forgotten that you are an inheritor. You were designed for this stuff. We're designed to take risks. How we take the risk, the attitude in which we do it, that's the important thing. Now, I'm not talking about gambling risks. I'm not talking about blind faith. I'm talking about educated walking, but having this tenacity, this faith that connects with your vision that says, I can do this, because where you can do it, the others can't. Remember, I said it's not about motivation, it's about discipline. Discipline gets us there. Mindset. The mindset of an imposter is one of insecurity and self doubt. People with imposter syndrome often feel they need to prove themselves constantly, believing they don't truly deserve their success. They might attribute their achievements to luck, timing, or other external factors rather than their own abilities. Again, who could say, I identify with this? It's making sense to me, especially when I want to push to the next stage. Like I made a bold statement last year saying that I want to see Project 61 eventually earn 1 million USD a month. And we're so far from that right now. But I haven't lost the vision of it because I'm excited that it's possible. It can only be possible with a vision. Without vision, we perish. We have to have that vision in place. And having a vision in place is so powerful and so amazing. Emotional impact, feelings of anxiety, inadequacy, stress are common, along with the fear of failure or judgment. Imposters often feel like they're barely holding things together and fear their perceived lack of skill will eventually be revealed. Wow. An example, a new CEO may feel like an imposter despite having years of experience and accolades because they perceive their promotion as a mistake or as something they don't genuinely deserve. So, what have you got in your mind? What is your vision statement that you've written? Like I said, when's the best time to write new goals for the following year? Not in January, in November, right now. For decades, I have written my new goals. I've set my new decisions for 2025. I'll set them in November. I'll make a plan and say, this is what I want to see happening. Why? Because in December, everyone shuts shop. January, everyone is recovering. February, they begin to think they're going to get started. And then by the time they get started, March, it's time for Easter and everyone's back to doing nothing. So it's around April when people start to do something for the year. If you start in November, you're already 6 months ahead. How many of you agree with that? And you're going to make more income. You're going to help more. You're going to serve the community more with your skills and your abilities. And I'm talking from a wealth perspective. Okay. So what's an inheritor mindset? Why is that different from from the imposter? An inheritor mindset is one where an individual perceives their position, success, or opportunity as something that has been entrusted to them or rightfully inherited, often with a sense of responsibility rather than self-doubt. Inheritors may view their roles or accomplishments as extensions of a legacy, family, mission, or calling. How many of you could apply this to where you're heading? You know, when Margaret said, I'm looking forward to retiring, hopefully with some good wealth. Well, if as an inheritor mindset, it's like, this is my responsibility, not just for me, but for those around me that I can pass the wisdom to, the information. I'll be an example to, but especially for me to just have that freedom. I'm going to be stewarding well what I've been given, right? What about for others? When Jerry says, eventually I'm going to have 25 outposts around Sri Lanka. I've got 10 now, 25 outposts, and we'll be serving 1,000 children every day or week, you said, Jerry. That's exciting. Okay, but is it because that's something you're doing for your benefit or something you're doing because it's your inherited rightful responsibility? Make sense? What about for each of you? What is something that you're doing in business? Why are you doing it? Creating something you're doing in creating wealth, something you're doing in your investment side of things. What's the mindset of an inheritor? The inheritor's mindset is rooted in acceptance and identity. Rather than doubting their worth or feeling undeserving, an inheritor feels that their role or position is theirs by right or purpose. There's a belief in belonging, where the individual feels their value is recognized and their presence is legitimate. Is this talking to anyone? Is it making sense to anyone? Okay, because I want you to grab a hold of this. This is so important that we move from every time we feel like an imposter, and it'll happen every time we're moving to new things that are beyond what your expectations are. It'll happen when things don't go the way you expect. You'll be like, oh my God, did I bite off more than I can chew? It'll happen in those stages. And when it happens in those stages, it's like when you can switch off and go, no, I'm an inheritor. I was left something passed on to me, not necessarily by my physical parents, could have been by some of the greats that have gone before me. It could have been by some of the legends that are currently living. Well, legends aren't living normally, but heroes that are currently living. It could be something that I've taken on as a baton that I've heard or seen, or something that's grown in me from the time I was a kid that I wish that I really need to get it done. Or it could have been passed down to me from other generations that I know. But either way, and whatever the way, are you feeling like your mind is in that place that this is what I need to do? Emotional impact, instead of self-doubt, there's a sense of gratitude, responsibility, and sometimes even reverence for the opportunity. The inheritor feels more focused on fulfilling or building upon what they've been given rather than proving their worth. So, an example, a third generation family business owner might see their role as an inheritor, feeling a sense of responsibility to carry forward the family's legacy and values rather than questioning if they're qualified to lead. So, here's a little table with some key differences that we want to go through. Today's training is a bit shorter because I just want to try and drive this home for you guys. So this is the second last slide. So the core belief of an imposter is I don't deserve to be here. Whereas the core belief of an inheritor is I'm entrusted with this position. The mindset of an imposter is self-doubt, fear, or being found out. Is that interesting? Being found out. Whereas an inheritor's mindset is acceptance, responsibility, and gratitude. And in imposter's source of worth is external achievements or perceptions, whereas an inheritor's sense of worth is inherent sense of belonging or purpose. The emotional impact of an imposter is anxiety, stress, and insecurity. The emotional impact of an inheritor is gratitude, sense of duty, and fulfillment. I am excited every morning when I wake up. I am so excited about the day, what's ahead, what is planned. And when doubt tries to come my way, for those who were at home church yesterday, what did I say? Imagine YouTube when they have those ads and they go, 4, 3, 2, 1, skip ad, just skip the ad. All right. If doubt comes in, just skip the ad. Wait till 3, 2, 1, and I'm skipping that ad and move into that place of gratitude, a sense of duty, and fulfillment. Goals. This imposter's goal is to prove oneself to feel worthy. Isn't that interesting? Okay. Whereas the inheritor's goal is to uphold or honor a legacy, mission, or calling. Like, I want us to get to a place where you will not need to justify why you're doing what you're doing for your business, for your investments, for your wealth creation. You don't have to justify things going up or down. It is a legacy, it's a mission, it's an honor that you're running with, and that's your goal. You've got the mindset of acceptance and responsibility and gratitude. You've got the core belief of entrusted with a position. You've got the emotional impact of gratitude, the source of worth of inherent sense of belonging or purpose. This is what I'm here for. Remember, I said you were not created to be a failure. You were designed to be a success. So the view of success for an imposter, the last one, is often seen as a fluke or due to luck. Whereas Inheritor says it's seen as a part of a greater responsibility or trust. So I want you to take a picture of this, and maybe someone could even copy and paste this in a wealth creation group. And I want you guys to just either mentally or physically, you could take a screenshot, get a pen out, digital pen, or on a piece of paper, write down. Rate yourself for each of these. There's 6 aspects here: core belief, mindset, source of worth, emotional impact, goal, view of success. Think about the new venture that you have moved into this year. Think about the venture you're looking at moving into in 2025 and you're getting ready now itself. And then I want you to think about how you're feeling about these and just kind of putting a little maybe scale of 1 to 10, 10 being very confident, 1 being not confident at all, as an inheritor. And this is just for you. You don't have to share this when we finish the lesson, but it's just for you to have an internal process to say, this is what I need to work on. Because remember, mindset is 90% of success. 10% is the rest.